And turning now to Storm Watch 12 meteorologist Josh Colbert this morning. As far as travel goes, people heading out to start their day, seeing some impacts when it comes to visibility, some fog. Is there anything else that people need to be super worried about? Ice on the roadways, any precipitation that we're seeing?
Not for this morning. The threat for freezing rain comes a little bit later today into this evening. We'll have more on that in a second. But first, like Anna mentioned, the fog that we're seeing within the Rogue Valley. Also, it's starting to spread down into the Shasta Valley as well. Temperatures this morning, not all that impressive. We're either right at or below freezing for the east side, but above freezing for west side valleys and along the coast. You're seeing this little band of moisture. It's now just right on top of Medford. It's moving past the Interstate 5 corridor, starting to get over to the Klamath Basin. That is just the appetizer. We'll put this into motion, and this will be mainly on the east side by the time we get to lunchtime. But then here comes round number two, at least round number two for today. There along the coast, spreading inland. By the time we get to dinner time, widespread rain and snow. And snow levels are going to be going up this afternoon into this evening. By the time we get to midnight, it's more widespread rain and snow, although snow levels will continue to ascend. And then we'll be left over with some showers on Friday morning. That'll continue all throughout the day on Friday, but then after sundown, I think will be dry. Going to get some pretty beneficial rainfall from the storm system, at least along the coast and up in the Cascades. And the good news is that models have started to trend a little bit wetter with the storm system, at least for the Rogue Valley and for the east side. Not as lucky for our friends down in the Shasta Valley. And those are projected rainfall totals through Friday morning. Snow levels are going to be abnormally high for this time of the year, starting off around 4,000 feet for this morning, but then getting up to around 5,500 to 7,000 feet a little bit later in the day into tonight. And so with that warmer air aloft, that means that we're going to have snow that's going to melt. It's going to turn into rain, but it's going to freeze on contact over on the east side. Again, I'll have more on that here in just a second. But first, some of the snowfall totals, not all that impressive. Klamath Falls, Lakeview, maybe just getting anywhere between a trace to an inch of snow. Again, this would be through Friday morning. Anywhere between 3 to 6 inches up in the Cascades, but you'd expect more for this time of the year. Here's that travel forecast for today for Medford, and you can see that temperatures are going to be pretty mild for today, having some showers, but the big impacts are going to be, of course, elsewhere. Denver, 1 degree for today. That's the high temperature, by the way. In Seattle, we're expecting some light snow, temperatures that are going to be capped off in the mid-20s. Back to the freezing rain threat that we're going to have for here over on the east side locally. We have this it's not a freezing rain advisory. It's actually just a winter weather advisory, but it's in place for the east side. It runs from this evening to Friday morning. So that means that we're going to have a two-pronged travel risk locally for tonight. We're going to have the snowy roads up in the Cascade Passes and, of course, some of those icy roads for the east side. So for today, widespread rain and snow levels ascending all throughout the day. Then for tonight, we'll continue to observe the same thing. Winds picking up along the coast and up in the Cascades, gusting up to 40 miles per hour. Christmas Day is looking like it's going to be the driest day we'll have over the next 7 days. Very mild conditions we're expecting, but it's sandwiched in between a storm system for Saturday. Yes, we have another one to deal with for Christmas Eve, and then a setup that looks like it's probably going to be an atmospheric river for Monday into Tuesday. So lots of moving parts to this forecast over the next 7 days. Here's your 7-day forecast along the coast. Lots of wet weather over the next 7 days. That's going to be the bottom line. For Siskiyou County, I think snow levels are just going to be a little bit too high over the next 7 days for us to see any wintry precip. For the east side, we'll have a chance for rain and snow for today, then that threat for freezing rain tonight into Friday morning. For that storm system on Christmas Eve, snow levels are going to be up to around 9,000 feet, which means that even up in the Cascades and Siskiyous, we could see rain as opposed to snow, and that means that we could see some melting of the snowpack. Then for the Rogue Valley, very mild and very wet over the next 7 days.